So without further ado, I want to acknowledge the generosity of Shikha Colwill, who is joining us now to give us so much value about what we need to know about online marketing. So Shikha, welcome and thank you so much.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks so much for having me here. It really is a real pleasure to be able to share what I know, and I live in this world of digital marketing. And again, like you guys will be all in a different rate of knowledge base, so that's all okay. And questions, and I can have a conversation with you afterwards, are welcome too. So should we get started? I'll just share my screen.
Yes, please. I'm looking forward to this screen you're going to be sharing.
Okay, awesome. So everyone can see that big white screen there?
Yep.
Awesome, that's great. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you about online marketing, specifically for authors. So how to build your successful marketing plan, become that authority, and create that following. So in my research, I went in and asked a whole heap of authors about what they needed in their marketing, and that's where I've discovered and I've created a marketing plan specifically for authors. So really easy for you to do yourself and also to have someone do for you. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, who's this for? All authors who want to become that known authority, grow their following online, and also sell more books. And of course, I've also been approached by business owners who have written a book and want to be able to market, use that book as a business card, say, and get more people, get to know more people, and also get more clients as a result. So a little bit about me. I've been in this business for about 9 years. Bloom Web Solutions is my business. I have a very talented team of graphic designers and developers and SEO experts and Google marketers who I turn to. I'm a mum of 2 teenagers, 1 hubby and a crazy dog, and he's outside at the moment, so that's why he won't hear him barking. And I'm also a passionate teacher, and I hold lots of workshops. Well, pre-COVID, they were face-to-face, and now they're starting to become more online like this. So great opportunities for us to be together in this space. So the foundations, so building those foundations first. What you need to do is build your brand, define your audience, set some goals, and then prioritize what is really important to you. So that is the first thing I do when I talk to anyone who needs a website, but more so for authors, because we know we're not always in this space, and it can be frustrating to understand what we don't know. So I'm here to make it super easy for you. So these are the 4 steps. I mean, there's going to be 8 steps in total, but these are the first 4 steps. So let me dive into what I mean about these first 4 steps. So building your brand is really about identifying your unique author brand. So brand is everything people perceive you as. It's your personality, every word you write, your fonts, your colors you use, the way that you make people feel when they read your books or visit your website or see you online. So brand is basically a consistent promise to your reader about what they're going to get in terms of product quality, customer service, readability, your books, your stories, and how that will be different from your competition. So thousands and millions and thousands of authors out there you are competing with. So once you start building your author platform and put yourself out in the world, people are going to get a sense of who you are, what you do, what you believe in, and they will eventually form an opinion about you. That is your brand. Okay, so it's wise to take control of what your brand is, to help people to believe the things you want them to believe about you as an author before they draw their own conclusions. So they don't know you from a bar of soap. You're not going to be writing necessarily about the things that you live in your world. So they're not going to read your books and think, J.K. Rowling lives in this Harry Potter world. They're going to just simply read your stories. But sometimes that fine line can be intertwined. So we want them to understand who you exactly are. And that's why it's really important in this day and age to be really careful about what you say, do, and display online. But you want people to feel good about reading your books, and you also want people to feel good about meeting you. And sometimes the only place they can meet you at is online. So as an author who is fully in control of the brand, you can more easily attract your readers, and they will form a deeper connection with you. So create a strong, authentic brand that connects with the right readers, and you will never have to actually go out there and sell your book, right? So it's just creating that following. And often we say, before you even start writing, build that following. Start creating that following. Put your personality out there. Second thing is defining your audience. So identifying who is it that you want to align best with the books that you write, and who is most likely to buy your book. So it can take some time and effort to define your ideal customer or your ideal reader, but it will be very well worth it by spending some time to truly understand them. When you know about them, like where they hang out online, what their likes and dislikes are, so what their interests are, you'll more easily be able to speak to them in a way that they relate to. So what I find is that when we are us, we speak in a certain tone, a voice, a language. So by really understanding who that reader is, you'll be able to understand what kind of words they relate to, what kind of imagery they relate to, where they are, and what kind of conversations they like to have, because that's where you need to be. So by defining that audience, it becomes really easy to think about what attracts them. So your digital brand is a conversation about your book that builds your community, one relationship at a time. So really is important to recognize that digital brand of yours. Spend some time working at it. So set your marketing goals and priorities. The third step, most important. So just like you set your goals when you're writing your book, you set your marketing goals. So everything that you plan and do related to the marketing of your book, it's your why, your goals, your dreams, all wrapped up into one action-focused package. So when we talk about that, ideally you'll have eliminated your objectives. You will have examined your objectives for the book early in the writing process. So as the objectives will take effect, everything including your content, your tone, your design and length will come into play. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is be aware. Okay, so what kind of awareness do you want to raise? Is it for you as an author, for your book, or for the subject that you're writing about, for the genre, or for everything above? All right, so what is that needs to be more important to you to build that awareness? Is this awareness a prerequisite to someone who's going to come and read your book? Okay, next thing, you want to make sure about your engagement. So do you want to speak at conferences, in podcasts, at events? Do you want to engage with your readers by doing book readings or signings? So when you have a launch of a book. Do you want to speak at schools or libraries or business meetings? Right? So by really identifying who your customer is, we're starting to work out where we need to engage with them. So do you want to build an online community of loyal readers, or build an engaging email list of readers? Or do you want them to buy your next book? Okay, or that book after that? and they become your loyal follower. So the next thing you need to think about is your book sales. How many books do you really want to sell? That's where your goals come in, right? Be realistic and be bold with your answer. So you also want to make sure that that realistic goal is achievable, all right? And then, yes, every goal is achievable, but we need to know what steps we need to do before to make that goal achievable. So that's really important to understand too, because you might be doing all this marketing and then you might want to sell 5 books. So is that really worth your effort and your time to be wanting to sell 5 books? So really look at, is it 2 million copies that you want to sell? Then you want to crank that marketing up. So also you want to be able to research how other booksellers are selling in that genre. You want to use tools like Publisher Rocket and KD Spy, which also will help you to work out what keywords are being searched on Google. So for example, if I search on global book sales by genre, the stats might tell me that more money is spent buying business books than all fiction categories combined, right? So I'm going to use these tools, and Publisher Rocket is, I think, $95 for the lifetime, and KD Spies are free for an alternative time. You can also do some manual search on Amazon. It's super easy. Go to Amazon, put some keywords down, and they will be able to provide you with a list of known keywords that shoppers use on a regular basis. You can use Publisher Rocket to determine those keywords on Amazon as well. So the Publisher Rocket will tell you the keywords, provide you with a known list of keywords. It also has a competition feature. It lists the books that ranks in the first page of Amazon for a particular keyword. So you can actually learn what attributes you need to, what steps you need to take to outrank them. It has a categories feature as well, which lists all Amazon book categories, along with how many books you need to sell to be the #1 bestseller. So these are tools that are out there. If you want to be doing this yourself, use those tools that are out there. You also get a good sense of what the bestsellers are in your genre. Okay, so be realistic about your chances. This will also give you a real number, and set yourself a goal. When you set yourself a goal, make it something that's going to make you proud once you've achieved it as well. And I always say, you know, treat yourself for every little goal you achieve. That's what's going to keep you motivated and keep you moving forward. So this is some of the things that we talk about in the strategy sessions that I do with my authors and clients. So the next 4 steps is your actual marketing plan. So you want to be able to create this designer website. Okay, it's where people will come to know a little bit about you. You want to create an email list. You want to be able to write a blog, and you want to build your audience. Okay, so I'm going to dive into those next 4 steps. So with your designer website, your website is the only place online where you are in total control. It's the only place online that you own solely. So no one else can change the rules like they can on social media, and social media platforms can cancel out things and change their priorities on things and change their search mechanisms on things, except your website is your true own real estate online. You basically call the shots there. Okay, so what do you really need to have on a website? Yes, you need to have your homepage and your about page, a little bit about you. You need to have the links of the books on the page on the top of the navigation. All right, so this means that it's easy for visitors to find the books, this page, no matter where they are on the website. You want to display the book covers. This can really spark some recognition later when a reader is browsing the latest deals on a retail shop, because they need to know what the book covers look like, right? You want to include a brief elevator pitch. All right, these are called, that's what I call like a tagline. It's what you notice on the banner image when you first enter a website. You have a beautiful image and you have those keywords right at the top there. And that's also the first thing that Google is going to recognize when they come to your website. So it's really important to have a nice brief banner, a tagline, because that is going to determine whether the reader will move forward and keep reading, or is the reader going to look at that tagline and think, do I belong here or not? Right? So it's basically a quick synopsis or a blurb that tells them who you are, what book you've written, what type of books you write, and what's your latest book, right? So you also want to include links to all the retailers who house your books, so that people can see, oh, I can go to this particular shop to go and buy it, or should I buy it online? So it really gives them the options and opportunities. You also want to make sure that new releases, if it's an upcoming release or it's coming soon or it's just arrived or launched, you want to make sure that your reader actually knows that that's happened, because they want to see some movement in your site as well. So there's a little bit of updating on your website. Of course, subscribe to updates. We all know how valuable email lists can be. So you want to make sure that they are subscribing to an email list where you're providing them with some sort of freebie or some sort of call to action to lure them in to give you their email address and name. So you want to give them those updates as well. So you might be writing a book currently, put a page on their website, get them to sign up. You're building your email list while you're still writing your book. People are keen and interested. Once it's out, you've got a certain number of people who are going to purchase from you. And again, give them a link to a pre-purchase area so that you've still got money coming in, but you've got loyal fans who are actually saying, I really want to read your book. Right? You want to be able to make it easy for them to contact you as well. And it's all links to social sites. You want them to know how easy it is for them to have conversations with you. Also with the social sites, it's really advantageous for you to have a group page, not just a book page or an author page, but actually a group page where you have your special VIP readers or followers join that group. And I know there's tons of groups out there, but people have the choice with how many groups they join. And if they are choosing to be a part of your world, they will join your group. Just make sure that you have conversations with them on a weekly basis, if not daily, right? So include a special freebie as well. Offer can be some sort of a giveaway. You might have a special signed copy of your book, sneak peek like on your first chapter. You might have a free ebook, or they can win an autographed copy of your book. Just make it a little bit of fun. Also list any upcoming events that you might be having. Yes, of course, there are so many bookshops. You could be doing some speaking engagements, some panels, some conferences, book readings, sightings. You might do some workshops. There might be an interview or podcast. Any sort of media coverage that you have works wonders here. And of course, make sure that it is mobile responsive. In this day and age, Google will just blacklist you if your site is not mobile responsive. So yes, and have a blog, some articles you might write to share your contents. The other thing is, I'll come to blogs in a little bit later, we'll talk about them. Email list, right? So important. So customer relationship management systems are super important when you've got clients, you've got readers, when you want to build that relationship with people so they keep coming back to you. And the other thing is, don't put everyone into one email list. Yes, use a platform. Make sure that platform's really easy for you to use, that program. But putting everyone on one email list will will be a big jumbled up mess because some people may have come through wanting a free giveaway. Others may have found you on social media. There might be a different lead magnet that others might have got from your website or downloaded something. Some people may have come from Facebook ads. So put them in different lists so you can nurture them differently, because you know that their mindsets are different when they come to you. They've come to you from a certain ad. They might have come through to you because you've given them something for free. They're going to be wanting certain different things. So dive into really learning what it is they want. For more casual subscribers, like if they are coming from your giveaways, nurture these people over a period of time. Let them gradually get to know you. For anyone else who's deliberately signed up, maybe from an ad or a book reading or a talk or a conference, add these people to a segment where they may come to a launch. Then they hit them up for something that early on, so they are a little bit more eager to grab that piece of the book. So they might be wanting some other things. So hit them up with something else, give them an opportunity to get to know you in a different way. Most importantly, keep your readers engaged. All right, so the point is to get your subscribers to open your newsletters, read them, engage with them, with the content, to the extent you need to make sure that you're personally interacting with them. So getting in touch as often as possible, keeping them in the loop when there's developments of a book. So you might be writing a book at the moment. Keep them in the loop. They want to know, right? Your followers really want to know about what you're up to. And keep them in the loop of when launches arise, and do something in a launch because they want to be a part of it. You might even have a Zoom champagne party. I don't know, make it fun. So that is the way you want to be able to engage with them. And yes, when you're writing emails, lots of people tell me, I don't like getting emails in my list, in my email platform. I don't like getting bombarded with so many emails. That's okay, but you have to remember, you are not your reader. Okay, your reader is following you for a reason. If they want to unsubscribe, they can do so. And you may get a few unsubscribes, and don't take it to heart. But the readers that are hanging on, they truly want to know what you're up to, what you're doing. I had an author who was sending emails. Sunday night, she'd allocate a couple of hours to write them. Monday morning, by 8 a.m., without a doubt, there'd be an email in our inbox. Now, one time she was ill. She didn't manage to make that, and she unfortunately didn't send out that email on the Monday morning. And she had a ton of emails back from her readers, first time ever that she'd actually had emails back from her readers, asking her where that email was. So, and all this time, she'd never had many responses from them. So she really had no idea whether they were reading them or not, but there were no unsubscribes. So she thought, okay, well, they're doing something. And that's when she realized how important her email was to her readers. Truly of value too, loads of value. So the best time to start promoting your book, according to Seth Godin, is 3 years before it comes out. 3 years to build your reputation, build that asset, build a blog, build a following, build credibility, and build the connections you'll need later. And that is so true. I would not know whether it was 3 years, but I definitely give it 12 months. So at least, because it takes time for people to get to know you. And they're not out there to get your book straight away. Excuse me. But they want to know what you're doing, what you're up to, what you're writing. They might even be authors themselves and in the middle of writing a book, and they want to use your inspiration. Use you as an inspiration. So it really is about those people that want to know, like, and trust you. Right, blogging. So the best thing you can blog about is your journey as a writer. write about what stage you're at. You might even write about, share your stories, research on Google as well. So Google is great for this. Now there's one of the apps that I've just mentioned here, answerthepublic.com. I don't know whether you've heard of it. It actually does provide you with some blog titles that people are normally searching for on Google. So you just need to type in some keywords in there. You might have a genre. Just type it in the keywords and you'll get a list of why questions, how questions, what questions, and a whole heap of other titles. And it's a free tool that you can use to inspire you to think of certain blogs that you might be able to write. So also type in some keywords on Google. By keywords, I mean not one single word. There's short keywords and then there's long tail keywords, which is like a sentence. So, you know, you might be writing on crime or drama. You want to be able to then type some keywords in that people who are your readers may be searching for those type of books or storylines or genres or anything in that area. So if you type in some of these keywords, you'll be able to see what comes up on your Google search. I would do at least 5 different keywords, or at least 5 different searches. And some of the results that you see may come up again and again if those searches are very similar. Excerpts as well. So they're like tiny little nuggets that give people a taste of your style and stories. So you can range anywhere between range anywhere between a couple of sentences to like 100 words excerpt. So it can be a part of your work in progress, a novel that you're writing, could be a whole story by itself. You could also use some online tools like Canva and PicMonkey to design these post images that you can put out there on your socials. And you can create some sort of an interest as to what you're doing and working on. Character sketches are great. People love characters. Don't we all watch movies and we analyze these characters, and we read books and we sit down and analyze these characters and really try and get inside their heads. So pick a character from your story, write about them. Okay, what's their story? What are they doing in the book? Who's been an inspiration for this character? Great blog post, right? People want to know how you built this character. How did they come into your head? Do you know someone who is in your family who's like this? Book reviews. Reviews are great. So you want to be able to also provide these opinion pieces about the books that you're reading, not just the stuff you're writing on. So you might have a book review, a poetry review of articles or pieces that you might have read in a magazine. Write about them. Tell people about what you think. Because the other thing is that people will be searching for these kind of books or the name of that particular book, and they'll find it, you know, they'll search on Google, Harry Potter, Philosopher's Stone, they'll find where it's located, where people can buy them. First thing is, they can come up with an Amazon, you know, where you can purchase. The next thing is you might say reviews in your search. See what comes up there, because that's when people are writing about these books and characters. And when people are searching for these books, they also want to know, what is it about them? I want to dive into that book before I buy it. Tell me the storyline a little bit further. I want to get a little bit of an interest in it before I purchase it, right? So you can write your honest opinion and then put it down as a blog post. Journal. Write about a recent travel experience that you've had, or maybe you're journaling your writing experience. You want to share a recipe. You need to really dive into what your reader truly wants to know. This comes right back to our first 4 steps where we're trying to understand our audience. And this will help you, once you've understood your audience, this will help you know what they want to read from you. Keep it funny, lighthearted, and of course, your thoughts are important. Interviews, profiling other writers, editors, agents, publishers who are in the industry, and you want to raise your own profile. Profiling other things will raise your own profile, doing it in a nice, kind-hearted way. The other tip I'd like to give you when you're writing a blog is think of 3 avatars. So think of 3 people or 3 types of readers who want to come and read your books. Create 3 different cardstocks. Find an image that replicates them online, or anyone that you know in your family or friend zone. Write a few things that you like or know about them. Not necessarily like, things that you know about them. Like, do they like to take photos outdoors? Are they community-based? How old are they? Where would they live? What kind of things would they read? What do they do outside of work? You really truly just write about 10 points on each character or each person that you know and you know is a type of your reader. When you're writing a blog, just get one card out, put that in front of you and write specifically to them, because there are a million other people who are that characteristic, who have that characteristic. And you know they will all be interested in reading that blog. You're not writing to everybody, you're writing to that particular type of reader. Okay, so really great and easy way for you to think of writing a blog. And remember, a blog just has to be 300 words. That's it. Making sure that your headings have those specific keywords that they will be searching for on Google, because that's how Google recognizes what your blog's all about. Dives into the headings first and then reads the content. Okay, so super important. Just really a couple of simple steps you can do to write your blogs. Building your audience. Engage with your reader. So create an engagement strategy for social media. Yes, you will have to use social media in this sense, but we're not asking you to go out and sign up to the 50 different channels, right? We're asking you to just pick one social media platform where you find your readers and you feel that it'll be easy for you to use. Okay, start with that one channel. Engage and connect, provide that value to your reader. Again, understanding who your reader is super important. So you have to go for engagement. You want people to talk on your page. That's what you want them to do. It's not just about the likes, it's the conversations. Don't get wooed by big numbers though. You want a smaller community that's more engaging as opposed to a larger audience that's not doing anything, right? So look at the ways to engage with your audience. I would actually do some searches on the social media platforms on the genre that you write. Find other authors who are writing the same genres. Just have a look at how they post, how often they post, what are the types of things they talk about, and get some inspiration from that. And see that if that resonates with your reader, right? Your readers are going to be slightly different to theirs. We're not in that competition space. We'll always find that our customers and our readers are slightly different to our competitors. And the other thing is we do things differently to everyone else, right? So they're choosing to be in our space because of who we are. So put your reader first. So when you're creating content to connect with your community, always filter your content through a lens for your reader, right? So how are you serving your reader? What values are you providing them? What problems are you solving for them? Look at the engagement and see what people are sharing. And see which posts got the most responses and why. It's always the ones that are off the whim, not planned, and are done spontaneously because they have a human factor about them that get the most responses. And quotes and quotes and quotes and emotional messaging is what connects your reader to you. So also ask yourself, what is my audience telling me? What are they wanting from me? So when the content you create solves a problem, your audience has a problem that your audience has, that's when you'll authentically build a lasting relationship. All right. And definitely think of it as a marathon, not a sprint. It's not an overnight success. We don't just build a website and suddenly we're popular online. It does not happen that way. Unfortunately, it's not a magic wand. Wouldn't we all want that? It's okay if your marketing efforts don't immediately go viral. Okay, some do, and you hear random stories and you think, that'll be so great if mine does that. I know my kids, I have teenagers, they want to be YouTubers because all they see is YouTubers succeeding on YouTube. Not the amounts of years they've worked and the hardships and they've failed on so many things. They don't see that, right? But you got to be authentic about this. So be consistent on creating that buzz about your brand, right? Brand, your book, your communication. Try and do this daily. I know it will feel hard at first, but the only thing that feels hard to you is when you have a block about it. Okay, I don't understand who my customer is. I don't know what to post. I don't know what to say. I don't know if they'll like what I say, right? All those things are blocks about what our head space is telling us. But in actual fact, they just want you to share. That's it. They just want you to share and they want to be in your space. They want to be reading your stuff. So they don't really care what you post. You can post a video in the morning, the first thing you get up, talk about what your dreams are about. I don't know. You know, if that interests them, they will be there to listen. So think of the big picture, because each and every day, carving out your niche, creating a presence and building a following will take time. But if you truly think of your why are you doing this? What is your purpose for writing the book? What message do you want to pass on to your reader? It'll come truly very easily. Now, I know I listen to he's I guess a life coach, meditation guru, Deepak Chopra. I'm sure some of you might have heard of him, on Instagram, and he is posting a video a day. And that video is truly in the most daggiest outfit, in a room in his house, angled so awkwardly because he puts it down and it's facing right up at him. It's a really bad angle to be, but I'm not interested in what he's wearing, what he looks like, or which room he's in. I just want to listen to what he wants to say, right? And that's what resonates with me, and that's what resonates with his listeners. So again, he's not trying to be who he's not, and that's really the true fact about it. Toolboxes. I love tools, because if they can make your life easier, use them. So I'm not sure how many tools you guys know about, but these are the ones that I dedicatedly use on a daily basis. Having a really good CRM and an email system saves you so much time and money in the long run. Yes, it will cost you a little bit of time to understand which tool to use, how to use it. But if you've never used a CRM before, start with Mailchimp. It is free for up to 2,000 customers or 2,000 people in your list. You can only have the one list. That's okay. Learn how to use it, master it, attach it to your, put your readers in there, put your list in there for people who sign up to your newsletters, send out newsletters, manually do it. That's okay. Automate it. That's okay. So long as you're doing it in a really easy 4-step, 3-step process. So write down those steps. So those steps are right in front of you. Make it easy for you if you're doing it yourself. If you've got a team of people to do it, give those steps to them. because once you've picked a CRM system, there is no problem for you to move to another one. It's super easy to move. All it is downloading that list and uploading it to a new tool. Now, I always start my beginners on Mailchimp. If you've never used one, always start on Mailchimp. Super easy to use. Activecampaign has a few more ticks in my boxes. So Activecampaign is your next level up. Once you've resulted to the fact that you can't do certain things on Mailchimp, Activecampaign will do those things. So that'll allow you to automate a lot of your emails. You might have emails that are not just newsletter emails, but opt-ins, like little freebies that you've offered on your website or on your social media. You might have a different list, so you can create more lists. And I think the basic plan is $15 a month. So it's not huge amounts, but it will save you so much time and money. So in the long run, Activecampaign is a great level up from Mailchimp. Now, of course, if you want the BMW of all systems, try Infusionsoft. Really, I did a Google search to find out how many there are. 9,000 email systems. So you don't want to be trying all of them out, but you want to be starting with one to make your life easier, because it's got calendar capabilities, it's got messaging. People can get messages on their phone to remind them of events that you're having. So many possibilities you can do. Once it's set, you're really not going back in and changing very much. It's just set and it's doing the work for you. Passwords. So security is really important to me. Sending your passwords through email or through your phone is a big red alert for something going drastically wrong. So really, truly use a password system. LastPass, I love it. I use it on my phone. I have the same passwords on every device, right? So I don't have a different password to enter into my emails and my phone and a different password on my PC. You've got to have the same password on all devices. Make it easy for yourself. 1Password is also great. Both are pretty secure, and I would highly encourage you to use it and share it with your partner, or share it with someone who you trust. As in, share the login with someone who you trust, or share one of your passwords for your website with someone who you trust. Whether it be, your web developers obviously will have it. They need to be sharing it with you. Because so many times I've had people randomly call me and say, I can't get into my site. I don't even maintain their site, but they want me to tell them how to get into their site. Really, you need to have control of all your passwords. And also, if something happens to you, then at least someone in your space can access the tools that you're using, right? Really important for that to happen. Graphics. So Canva is my go-to place to edit graphics. Simple, super simple to use. I'm sure some of you are nodding your heads. You've obviously heard about it and used it. Plenty of templates. You can do presentations, awesome presentations. Images for socials and blogs work really easy. And the beauty of Canva is you can now use it on your phone. So if you're out and about and you take a beautiful photo of some trees and it resonates with you, pop it on your Canva app on your phone. Have a standard look and feel of your image posts for social media. Just have a standard template that you always use for imagery, right? It might have a border, whatever, it might have a logo. Just have it standard on Canva, so you're not thinking about what to write on it, how to edit it. You just put that image in the backdrop there and it's just done. And you can upload it to any social channel. Keyword research. If you really need to know, if you want to know what's going on online, use these tools. They're free. I think SEMrush has up to 10 searches a month that you can do on one particular site. So you might have, you might want to know, you have a website, okay, you might want to know what's going on with your website, how many people are actually getting coming, and what are they doing, and what kind of keywords are they searching for, and all that stuff. We use Google Analytics to a certain level, except these tools will go a little bit further and tell you a little bit more about those keywords. Also, you can compare it with your competitive authors. So if there's authors out there who have their websites, can put their websites in with yours, and you can compare to see what kind of keywords they're being searched on that are similar to your site. So there's a couple of things you can do on the free version. There's so much you can dive into and really spend a little bit of time understanding what Google is like. So, you know, use those tools if you've got some time, if you're really interested in it. Highly easy to use too. File storage and sharing. Yes, Google Drive, obviously everyone uses Google Drive nowadays, but it is, to me, the most easiest thing to store any of your files. So say, for example, someone's coming into your site and they want to download a PDF because you've offered them a free checklist to sign up to the newsletter, right? So you've got a free checklist there. That checklist might reside in your Google Drive or your Dropbox. Now, the advantage of that is that whenever you change that checklist, you just dump a new file in there, and that link from your website will always be the same, right? So they're actually going into that folder, not that particular file, right? You want to be able to make it really easy. So you're not constantly, if you're changing documents, you don't want to be constantly changing where that document is. So really easy, again, Calendly. My goodness, if you are a busy person, you've got a busy life or not a busy life, having a calendar saves us so much thought processes in our head. But having a calendar which has all your meetings, all your connection meetings, all your calls, even your private stuff that you have allocated each day, integrated into one space, not a book where you're thinking about what was here and what was there and what did I book here. It's really easy for you to be able to then send out your free times as a link to someone who wants to book in a time with you, right? So you're not constantly saying, oh, when are you free? Oh, I'm free on 9 o'clock on Friday. Oh, actually, I'm not free 9 o'clock, but I'm free at 12 on Monday. Oh, no, that won't work for me. You're not doing that, okay? That's time consuming. You just give the link to somebody to take that first step to book in a time with you, where they are then looking at their calendar and taking the initiative and done it. And it's done. It's done. You can send them any phone numbers on that link, but the beauty of that is also they will get a text reminder if you use Calendly. I think the paid version is about $8 a month, something like that. They'll get a text reminder before the meeting with you. Okay, so if they can't make it or they've forgotten about it or whatever's happened on their calendar on their end, they can let you know, right? So you can time that as well. I had some clients who just wanted to book in between 12 and 1 every day. That was the only availability they had. Every other time was taken up with work priorities. So in Calendly, we set them up to have the 12 and 1 available every day, Monday to Friday. And if that 12 and 1 on Monday was taken up, then it wouldn't show up as any other option on Monday, right? So you can actually allocate certain times that are available on certain calendar links. So you can have more than one calendar link on there. So easy to use and saves you a lot of time there as well. And of course, you're an author. You've got time to write your book. You have time allocated for when you have events on. You've got a book launch happening. You've got a time, launch, launch journey and you can allocate some time that you're not available on there. So simple. Stock images. Okay, I use loads of stock imagery online. As you know, anything that you find online is copyrighted. So really, there are things that you can search on Google. You might be searching for book titles for drama books. Titles will come up, as the covers will come up, and you might copy that cover as a inspiration, or you might copy that picture. That's not yours to copy. It's not yours to keep. But these tools here will offer you royalty-free imagery. Most of these tools are free. The last two are paid, but you will find stacks of images on there. The tools work slightly differently, so getting to understand what you're looking for, and then you'll know what tool to use to find those images. And of course, there is always Canva as well. How are we going with time?
We're just about getting ready for questions, I think.
Okay, all right, I'm almost done. It's my last slide.
He's going through at a great pace. Good on you.
So media and podcast, guys, you just have to be in this space where you need to find avenues to put your names down, to be available in doing radio interviews, podcasts. Go into your podcast application, write down anyone who interviews authors, right? You just have to say author interviews, or find the genre that you want to be, put those keywords down and see what comes up, because these podcasters are looking for people to interview. You want to be able to get into a podcast or a radio interview, because most of those things will remain online forever, right? So if someone's looking for you as an author and knows that you did this, or doesn't know that you did this podcast 5 years ago, they'll still be able to find you and be able to hear it like it was yesterday. Okay, so this is free marketing for you. Get out there and promote your book, even if it's not written yet. Go out there and talk to these people and see who can, where you can talk about your book, your writing, right? I do a lot of this research for my authors and make sure that I've got the right podcasts for them, so they can be promoting themselves, their book, their business, and become that known authority. So the more we talk about what we know, the more people will be recognizing you as the authority. So the trick is to get out there. And then the beauty is they will send you a copy of the podcast, stick it on your website, stick it on your socials, and get people to go and build that traffic to it, right? Once you've got it on your website, it's there forever, right? So people can easily find you there too if they're searching for any media podcast authors, right? So yeah, thank you. Are there any questions?
Yes, I was just going to say thank you, Shikha. And we're probably, what time are we now? Are you okay to run a little bit over time, Shikha?
I'm fine, yes.
We're a little bit before 1:30, so
yeah.
We'll be going over time, but I think such valuable content there, and I'm sure there will be questions. So please unmute yourself if you have a question. I see people still taking notes.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say too about toward the end there, talking about podcasts and what have you. Yes, that is exposure on the one hand, and excellent exposure. But by the same token, it is content.
Yes.
It's content for you to use.
100%.
So pays both ways. But whilst people are still thinking of their questions, I want to share an experience of being covered on Deborah Hutton's site, Balanced by Deborah Hutton. Now, my first book was called Thrive in Midlife. So target audience was there, Balanced by Deborah Hutton. And actually, I don't want to go too off track, but one of the best ranking things for SEO, now correct me if I'm wrong, Shikha, because I know things change, but at the time, one of the best ranking engines was LinkedIn.
Yes.
So you'd
Yeah.
search Jane Turner, throw
Yeah.
in midlife. Amazon wouldn't be what comes up.
No.
LinkedIn came up.
Yep.
But for a time, guess what came up? Balanced by Deborah Hutton, Jane Turner. And that was such the power of her SEO. So there are all these, I'll call them unintended consequences from the point of view of someone like Shikha, who knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
When you said, and I knew what you were meaning then, when you said, I researched for my authors, research the podcast for my authors. Well, authors aren't dopey. We can research our own, but we don't know what we're looking for. So that's just by way of a little bit of my own experience to throw into the mix there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Here we go, Sally. You've got a question.
Yeah. Thanks for your presentation. It was just fantastic, and so much great wisdom and lots of fantastic tips. And I love tools and resources. I'm one of those people who gives away lots of things like that too. I just wanted to ask you. You said something around being mobile responsive, and I've got question mark. What does that mean?
Good question.
What does that mean?
So we always look at our websites on our desktop, right? On our computers, bigger screens, and we think that's what they look like on the mobile. So when we often go onto a mobile and have a look at the website, maybe it's half cut and you can't see, and then you've got to drag this and that, and you can't see, and that becomes a little bit cumbersome for the reader. But also, Google knows when you've got a site that's been designed for mobile responsiveness, because it can tell that from the code, you see. So we actually, when we design a site, it's almost like we're designing two separate versions. But we make sure that when this image that maybe, for example, this new site that I've just designed, there's a beautiful image of a hexagonal thing, and then it's got a couple of cards at the side, a couple of things. Now on a desktop, we've got so much space to have that, and we can't have that as one big image, because we now have to break that into bits. So everything needs to go under one layer, under like boxes. On a mobile.
Never heard that expression, but understand that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries.
So Shikha, I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you for your talk. That was wonderful, very comprehensive. I'm just wondering, when you take on a client to help them through this process of marketing their book, how many sessions would you say that process takes?
Yeah, look, it takes a minimum of 4, sometimes 5, but they're 1.5 hours each. So they are a big chunk of your day. And so I try and complete them into 2 to 3 weeks, because we could do 2 into 1 week and then the other 2 in the next week. We try and do that, but it also gives me time to go away and do my research and really take in what your responses have been, because I don't live in your space like you do. So if there's certain questions that I've asked you as well, and I find that we need to dive into that a little bit more, or I don't feel like I've got the right response there, or feel like we need to understand that a bit more, then we spend a bit of time understanding that. And I find that a lot of the times people have never asked themselves these questions, right? It's just a matter of going through that process because we're so busy. We don't think about all the extra stuff we need to. We're writers, we're business owners. We just do what we do, right? So it is 4 sessions. I try and do them in 2 weeks. And it really is before the website even goes launching. So many of my clients have growth in their business because they have their clarity. So they'll come to me and say, I just don't do social media. And before we finish these 4 sessions and they're like, yeah, I can do this. So I think it's just that clarity comes in their space, and they understand who their customer is, who their reader is, and they know what to write.
And so when you talk about website, you're saying a website dedicated for promoting the book, or the existing website with extra tacked on because of
Look, if you have an existing website, we certainly don't change if it doesn't need to be changed. So I'll go away and look at some stats. I'll go away and look at what your goals are. Can we achieve this with your goals? if we keep the website the way it is and perhaps do other external marketing, let's talk about that. But it always starts with those strategy questions. Always starts with, what is this that you want to do? What are your goals? Who is your customer? Is that website still matching that? Or do we just change slightly the design, or do we just need to go overhaul? So it really just depends on what you want.
So you would physically make those changes to the website?
Yeah.
You have the staff to do that?
Yeah. Look, I'm a programmer by trade, so I know what they're doing. But I definitely I've sort of leave it to my expert programmer to do now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
one more question, promise, no more after that.
No, you're allowed to ask questions. It's great.
No, I don't want to. Other people want the opportunity too, but so in just following on from what Josephine was saying a little bit too, if you're already building a business website, in your experience, for me, I'm writing a book. The book is part of the business, but it's not all about the business, but it's certainly part of the business. And from the book, we're doing other things that line up with the book. Would it be best to have a separate website, or build the as Josephine was saying, the pages into the website that is being built for the business?
That's a very good question.
If that makes sense.
It often becomes a bit of a seesaw. Should we do this? Should we do this? Or should we keep it balanced and just use what we have? So what I always suggest is dive into what it is that you want to be selling. Is it your business that you want to be promoting, and you're using this book as a business card? Then stick that page into your current website, but have it like a landing page where you can have it on its own as well. So that if you do some email marketing or some social media purely for the book, that looks like just a page for the book to be sold, right? So some people I know have written 4 books, say. Right, they've got a business, they're writing 4 books, no problems. Sharon, is it Shannon? So you just need to realize, so this lady I spoke to, she's written 4 books. She's now got a publisher to help her market her 4th book, but the other 3 books she's always been doing herself. Now what she's done is she's stuck that page onto her website because she purely wants to sell her business. She wants to gain more clients. At the end of the day, she doesn't care how many books she sells. She wants to gain more clients. So her strategy for gaining more clients is doing speaking events and that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Great.
That makes sense.
So look, we might be just about ready to wind up, I think. Shikha, that was fantastic. Now, how can people connect with you? They may have noticed that on the bottom of the slides, and everybody who's going to get a copy of this recording, that your, the name of your company, Bloom Web Solutions, is there. But just for the sake of having it, for people who are more listeners than readers.
Yeah, look, on social media, on LinkedIn, I'm under Shikha Colwill, on Bloom Web Solutions, on Facebook, Instagram. I think that's basically it. And then online, I'm bloomwebsolutions.com.au. And if you'd like to send me an email or anything, you have any questions, send me an email at bloom@bloomwebsolutions.com.au. And happy to answer any questions or lead you in a path that you may get some help from. I do strategy in my sleep. I literally do. So I do on a daily basis. So I know what's out there, and there's some fairly interesting things for authors that are out there, and that's what excites me. Yeah.
Well, look, thank you so much, Shikha. That was fabulous. I was busy making some notes about some of those things that you mentioned. And I'm sure everyone here really got a lot of value out of this. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming on. And let's get the word out there about those books of yours.